But I'm having this unbelievably surreal dream where this little really tiny girl who's about 3 gets married. It just can't possibly be right, Lexi. I just want to, with Sharon, welcome everybody here. And Lexi, this is the day, eh? Dad, hand over to Chris Day. And Lexi and I, since, I don't know, long time, we've been swapping messages every Friday with a countdown to today. And this last couple of weeks we went from weekly messages to daily messages. And so we finally got down to Dad, hand over to Chris today. And I want to make it very clear to everybody that nobody hands over Lexi to anybody. So what we're talking about here is symbolism. And I know, you know, that most fathers in this room, we have these delusions about the absolute and final importance of ourselves in the lives of our daughters. And to think that some usurper would come along and take my place, I always thought was a bridge too far. But today, Chris, I think you have gone from being that usurper, from being somebody vaguely connected to the family, because when I first met you, you only been going together in about grade 12. But I now know that any thought that I had about my place in Lexi's life and your place in Lexi's life, I couldn't ask for better than to hand over to you today, symbolically, because I know that Lexi has somebody who is so loving, so committed, and so loyal. So we come to a wonderful time in all of our histories. The text messages that Lexi and I have been sharing for the last few months just tell us something about the relationship between Lex and I. I think it's been really a truly very special relationship. I've often been accused by some members of the family of having Lexi as my favourite. And that's not true, but it does indicate that there's something special going on here. And it's been special for 25 years. And along with Sharon and Kelly and Sam and Joe, Lexi is part of the essential, absolute core of my own life. Recently, that core was joined by Josh, and Chris, now it's joined by yourself. This special bond with Lexi began when she was obviously born. And she would lift her head up in the cot, and we all used to call her Lizard. And it continued on because, as Kelly has referred to, Lexi's imagination is just extraordinary. And it went on during many nights together when particularly Kelly, Lexi and I would cuddle together in the bedrooms, and I would tell these fantastic stories about the gobble gobble tree. And many of you here would not be familiar with the gobble gobble tree, but it was an incredibly fiendish beast that threatened the lives of everybody in the house. And it would attack night after night. And the only person that could save that would be some sort of macho male, and that was inevitably myself. And I would heroically appear right at the last minute to save everybody from the gobble gobble tree. So Chris, that's something to live up to. And Lexi, you know, all the lovely times we had through primary school. I can remember the day that you almost disowned me because I turned up in a gorilla mask to pick you up. And we did have many deviations on the way home to get ice cream. And you did everything that a parent could possibly ask in terms of the way that you were able to deal with everything in primary school and high school. And it just brings me to something a bit strange, really. I think you've just been an absolute breeze of a child and a breeze of a young person. From the earliest moments, you exhibited all the qualities that Sharon has said tonight. A quietness, a confidence, determination, capability, loyalty. You've been so easy to live with, such a good friend to so many, and you've just got on with what had to be done. And I have to say, in sharp contrast to some members of the family, myself excluded, with a maximum of fuss and a maximum of competence, minimum of fuss. As I was trying to think of things to say about yourself, a strange thing began to emerge. And a lot of my memories, beautiful memories about you, come from overseas and have their origins in phone boxes. You have a superb collection of dolls. When I used to travel overseas, I would go out of my way to buy Lexi a doll. She would have one of the best collections of multicultural dolls in the world. Lexi and I would always go away together after I came back home, and I would give her these dolls, and I'm just delighted to know that all of those lovely dolls are now sitting in the new home with you and Chris. And there are other overseas memories I really cherish. When you and I and Kelly went to Guangzhou, and I left you and her at Hong Kong airport, dressed in your tracksuits. I'm not quite sure that was dereliction of duty. And then again, many years later, in Guangzhou again, when Lexi had, like everybody else, put down her preferences for university, and that was a very odd year at university when everybody wanted to go, so Lexi didn't get her first couple of preferences. So we all cuddled together in the foyer of the phone box in a hotel in Guangzhou, and we had a couple of tears, and then we went on to a wonderful holiday in Vietnam and in China, challenged by the fact that Sharon once again broke something, this time her foot. And we all went home together. And now from that slightly tearful moment in Guangzhou, you have a Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Education, an incredibly competent teacher. And we had the privilege of sharing a campus together. And little to your knowledge, I often used to say to my colleagues, that's my daughter over there. Then a few years ago,